You think streaming is hard? Try waking up every day at 5:30 a.m. to get ready for a job that doesn't care if you're inspired, rested, or even human. I leave my house when it's still dark. I squeeze into overcrowded buses. I show up early because lateness could cost me everything. And then I sit at a desk or stand behind a counter, pretending I care, while doing the same soul numbing tasks over and over. You think that's routine? That's survival. And when the workday ends, I'm not done. I still have groceries to buy, dinner to cook, laundry to fold, sleep to fight for, just to do it all again tomorrow. And for what? A paycheck that disappears before the 20th of the month. Rent, utilities, food, transport, gone. No savings, no exit plan, no time to dream. You get to shape your path. You decide what project to work on next. You chase passion. Me? I take orders from people who don't know my name, don't know my story, and couldn't care less if I burn out. And if I lose this job, that's it. Rent's late, bills pile up, my credit tanks. Freedom? We gave that up the moment we realized hunger was louder than ambition.
You call that hard? Try building an entire career on the shifting mood of the internet. I wake up every day with the same pressure, but mine doesn't come from a boss. It comes from millions of strangers who expect me to perform. If I'm not funny, I'm forgotten. If I'm not uploading, I'm slipping. If I'm not growing, I'm irrelevant. And once you're irrelevant online, you don't just lose your job, you lose your identity. You say I have freedom? Then why does my heart race every time a video flops? Why do I feel guilt when I take a single day off? Because in my world, pausing means vanishing. You clock out and go home. I live inside my workspace. My home is my set. My life is content. There's no off switch. And don't romanticize flexibility. When you take a sick day, you still get paid. When I get sick, I lose money and momentum. No HR, no time off, no help desk when things collapse. And when they do, there's no one to blame but me.
You think I get help when things collapse? Try calling HR about workplace abuse and being told to just stay professional. Try putting in extra hours, extra effort, extra patience, and getting nothing but more expectations. No one's clapping for me. No one's watching my breakdown with empathy. You talk about pressure? I carry quiet suffering. I don't get comments, I don't get engagement, and I get ignored. I work with people who call me too emotional if I cry and too cold if I don't. Customers curse at me, bosses overlook me. And when I say I'm tired, they say I should be grateful to even have a job. You go viral for being relatable. I disappear for being tired. You complain about the algorithm. I deal with systems designed to keep me stuck. Glass ceilings, office politics, favoritism. I could be the best and still get passed over. And let's talk mental health. You break down and your audience supports you. I break down and I'm seen as unstable. You take time to reset. I take time, I get replaced.
You think an audience is support? Try reading 2,000 hate comments before breakfast. Try being told you're talentless, worthless, or irrelevant every single day by strangers who know nothing about you. Try having your face, your voice, your entire personality picked apart like a reality show contestant, but with no editor to protect you. I don't have sick days. I have breakdowns I edit out. You complain about routine. I envy it. At least you know what tomorrow looks like. Me? I could get canceled in 12 hours for a 10-second clip taken out of context. And no, I don't get to just make content. I'm also a strategist, a brand, a business. I market myself, I troubleshoot tech, I answer DMS like customer support, and while you have coworkers, I have competition. Thousands of creators fighting for the same 1-minute attention span. Your job may feel robotic, but mine is relentless. Because every success story you admire came with 100 unseen breakdowns behind it.
You say your struggle is unseen. So is mine. Nobody makes documentaries about burnt out receptionists. No one tweets inspiration about cashiers doing 12-hour shifts to feed their kids. At least your suffering is visible. At least people acknowledge that it exists. Me? I get called lazy if I take 2 minutes to breathe. Unambitious if I don't have a side hustle. Entitled if I ask for better pay. I didn't choose this. I applied. I showed up. I said yes, sir, and no, ma, and followed the rules. And I still ended up in a life that feels more like endurance than growth. You think your grind is lonely? Try being surrounded by people and still feeling invisible.
Let's talk risk. You said you followed the rules. Went to school, took the job. I respect that. But the truth? You're in a system where the ceiling is glass and the floor is cracked. I stepped outside that system. And yes, I risk everything. But at least I own my failure. At least I know I didn't wait 10 years to maybe get promoted. I didn't spend decades earning just enough to retire tired. I bet on myself, and that's terrifying, but also liberating. You say no one claps for you? No one clapped for me either. Not when I started with 0 views, no income, and everyone telling me it was childish. But here's the difference. Every inch of progress I've made, I built it. You're stuck in someone else's ladder. I'm building mine. You talk about exhaustion. I feel it too. But at least my exhaustion is for something I chose.
You keep saying you chose this. Like that makes the struggle noble, but most people don't even get to choose. You had a camera, a laptop, Wi Fi. I had family to feed, siblings to support, rent to pay by 25th. There was no build a brand phase, there was survival. And while you were figuring out lighting setups, I was figuring out how to stretch one salary to cover 3 lives. You say, I'm in a broken system. You're not wrong. But don't sit there acting like you've escaped it. You still answer to an algorithm. You still shape yourself around what the audience wants. How is that freedom? At least I know who I'm performing for. You? You sell a piece of your soul for likes. And when the internet moves on, what's left of you?
What's left? A skill set, an audience, a platform I control. Even if I lost it all tomorrow, I'd still have leverage, still have experience that translates. Can you say the same? If your job disappears, what's left behind? A CV and a broken back? You talk about selling your soul, but what about selling your time? Your years? For someone else's dream? You're exhausted, just like me. But at least I get to shape my output. You don't even get to shape your schedule. You talk about not having the choice, I get that. But don't turn that into a reason to insult mine. Because I took a road that nobody believed in, and I turned it into something real. You want to call that luck? Fine. But don't mistake it for ease.
Ease? Let's talk about the kind of pressure that doesn't trend. Try looking your mother in the eye when you can't help her with hospital bills. Try choosing between electricity and transport. Try doing everything right, the job, the hours, the submission, and still barely making it. You talk about freedom like it's a badge. But for some of us, stability is the revolution. Having a bed, having food, having enough left to breathe for 1 hour on Sunday, that's our version of winning. And no, I don't build an audience. I build reliability, I build routine. That might not look glamorous, but it keeps people alive. You think I'm bitter? I'm just tired of being invisible in a world that worships people who quit jobs while mocking those who still need one.
You think we're worshipped? Try being laughed at every holiday. Real job soon? Still doing those little videos? Try hearing your parents' silence when you say what you do. Try wondering if your entire career can disappear with a copyright strike, a hacked channel, or one bad tweet. You're right. Your pain is real. But so is mine. You're a cog in the machine. I'm fuel for the fire. Both of us get burned, just differently. But don't act like your lane makes you stronger. Don't act like sacrifice is only valid when it comes with a payslip and an ID badge. Because when I win, if I win, I don't just pay my bills. I free my future. And to me, that's worth all the chaos.